Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your small group sessions. Our plenary session here on the main stage is resuming indeed. So next up, we'll be looking at the world's most dynamic economies and the diversity they present in terms of geography, demographics, resources, economic strength, and geopolitical networks. Introducing the topic, we have a short video looking at where economic growth is coming from and where it's headed. A great reminder of the world's great potential and an invitation to travel, of course. So joining me to talk about the diversity of consumers in growth markets are Jane Sun, the CEO of the Trip.com group, and the CEO of Brazil's Bradesco Asset Management, Bruno Funchal. So please join me in wishing a very warm welcome to our guests. So many thanks to both of you for being here. Let's dive right in with you, Jane. The tourism industry is very much driven by consumer spending, of course, making insights from your group, Trip.com, a precious window on broad structural trends. So tell us about the factors you are seeing, witnessing at the moment that are changing the way consumers are spending on travel in Asia, but also globally.
Thanks for having me. Trip.com serves very high end of the customers. Last year, Chinese travelers spent about 200 billion when they travel abroad. The buying power for Trip.com is 2 to 3 times as high as the average buyers. The most expensive tour we sold cost about 200,000 USD per person per trip, 80 days around the world. And guess how long did it take us to sell these packages? Take a guess.
I'll have a go. Couple of days?
Very good guess. Lots of our investors thought about 6 months to 1 year because it's a big ticket item. But it only took us 17 seconds to sell these packages.
17?
17,
17.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we're facing here. That's absolutely incredible. So you have talked about how much Chinese consumers are willing to spend on travel and entertainment experiences generally. Which other maybe consumer segments and sectors will be key drivers of growth?
Yeah, so we looked at our data. The data shows there are 3 new trends, which we called 3 E's. The first E is events plus travel. Young people likes to come to Paris Olympic Games, Taylor Swift shows, G-Dragon shows, Blackpink shows. So we center around these major events and package a deal for our young travelers. The second E is elderly friendly. In China, the retirement age is quite young. Women can get retired anywhere between 50 to 55 years old. Men can get retired between 55 to 60 years old. These people have energy, have money, have time to come. Yet they are not time sensitive. So we work very closely with the destinations such as Paris, with our destination partners in different hotels, attractions, and we can bring these people during the slow season of the travel season. The third E is emerging market. So from north, Norway, Finland become very popular. From south, South Africa become one of the top travel destinations. So these 3 E's are represents great opportunities for us.
So a very dynamic landscape in Asia. Let's turn to Latin America now with you, Bruno. As one of the largest fund managers in Brazil, you have a unique view on the dynamics shaping your markets. So how have you seen Brazilian consumer spending develop lately, and what do you think will drive growth going forward?
Well, we see not only Brazil, but Latin and all the region, we experiencing a lot of reboots and then a lot of reforms. You know, on one hand, we see as a structural growth due of these reforms, but on the other hand, we also have some growth coming for fiscal stimulus. The one growth is good because it concerns to the long term. So we have a lot of reforms. If you look to Brazil, we have a reform on a labor market, we have a pension system reform, we have capital markets reform, we have the autonomy of the central bank, we have a bunch of reforms independent of the government. The last 10 years, if you look for the last 10 years, we have several reforms that push a growth. But we still have of course, some problems. We would like to see a growth that is based on increase of productivity. This is one concerns that we have. Probably we'll talk a little bit more about our challenges, but so part of the growth comes more structural measures. Part of the growth, the short-term growth, comes from fiscal stimulus, and that is bad because it pushes inflation and it makes our interest rates the highest in the globe.
Thank you very much for that assessment. Turning back to you, Jane, to discuss your strength as a group, and is the fact that you've got this ability to analyze very large amounts of data, which is very important to understand how the consumer spending landscape is evolving indeed. So tell us more about your very privileged position as a global company, able to use technology to better understand your markets.
We invest heavily in technology and AI. We have about 10,000 engineers in-house to develop a very robust system. We mainly use our AI for 4 areas. The first one is user's interface. In the past, when you look for a hotel, you need to input all your criteria into the system. Now using AI, the system automatically knows what's your spending power, when is your birthday, when is your anniversary. So the system will have a very user-friendly interface using AI. The second one is using AI, we can also cut lots of coding time. We can cut it anywhere between 15 to 30% currently. And in the future, maybe cut the coding time more, which will give us a huge uplift for productivity. The third one is customer users experience. Using AI, we can serve our customers very well. If you want to talk to a customer service rep, we can pick up the call within 30 seconds. Or if you run into crisis, for example, Japan had a tsunami, Middle East had a conflict. Within 2 minutes, our team needs to reach out to all the customers within that region, move them to the safe hotel, offer hot meal to them, and the very next day we'll fly them back to a safe zone. So that capability is very much based on an excellent service and excellent investment in technology. And lastly, we use AI for developing content. So if you have audios, videos, and pictures, using our technology and data, we'll be able to generate excellent data much more efficiently. So using technology, data, and AI, our operation becomes really robust.
Thank you. Sounds fascinating, actually. During the first half of the plenary here, we've talked about this troubled geopolitical landscape we're going through at the moment. With this increasingly fragmented world, that comes with shifting tourism patterns, of course. So are you seeing geopolitical factors affecting the way consumers are behaving in emerging economies? And is your international reach an advantage in this case? You've talked about the fact that you are quite diversified.
Correct. I think people in Asia are very dynamic, very interested in history, very interested in exploring the world. So we notice a couple of factors are very important in attracting inbound customers. The first one is visa application. For example, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar, they give free visa to many countries. So lots of people feel it's very easy to make the last-minute decision to visit these beautiful countries. The second important factor is direct flight. So UAE have Emirates. Qatar has Qatar Airlines. These are beautiful airlines. Singapore has Singapore Airlines. So a direct flight also is very important in making travel much easier for consumers. The third one is the DMC facility. So Thailand and Japan historically offers great services. People like to go to countries which offer a very friendly capability to welcome people from other countries. So these are the very important factors. And France in Europe always attracts the best travelers. So we're very positive in bringing our travelers in the beautiful city of France. And last year, the Olympic Games again pushed France into the top of the travel destination.
Thank you very much for that, Jane. Bruno, we just talked about the success of Trip.com here, and the fact that geopolitical fragmentation or even uncertainty can be a source of opportunity, of course. Latin America stands to benefit from all this. So how are companies leveraging the reshuffling of global relations, and what do you believe is coming up next?
It's benefiting, but in relative terms, we still have, the effects on the global growth. So it's not so clear the final effect. But of course, in relative terms, I think we are good. For Latin American countries, we are not protagonists in this geopolitical reshuffling, but there is a lot of, because of that, we have a lot of opportunities. So, and we have a very important relationship with several countries independent of their side. So, for example, in Brazil, our major trade partner is China. The second major is in the United States. And of course, we have a lot of opportunities to sell more for China in substitution to United States, and the other way around still is valid. So selling more to US in substitution to Asian products. Mexico is benefiting for the nearshoring, and they are benefiting from nearshoring for the last 5-6 years. I don't think that this new change in the tariffs will affect him in the worst way. So the same way that Brazil is benefiting from that in relative terms, I believe that all Latin America, we are in a better position than that we were before this change.
So in light of what you've just shared with us here, what's your message to investors when it comes to spending their money on Latin America?
But Latin, we have a very interesting deep market. So I think the main message is we have a deep market. In Brazil, it's very profound, so we can trade in volume, buying sovereign bonds, buying equities, buying corporate bonds. And corporate bonds is a type of market that developed big time in the last couple of years in Brazil. This is one thing. Another thing is we are strategic positioning as a supplier for the world of food. So, and we produce a lot of things with a very clean matrix of energy. So I think in the strategic fields, Latin America is very well positioning, and we have a huge space to grow. So we are having a lot of investment in infrastructure. So we have a lot of opportunities. So we have a deep market. We have good price because we saw the relative price of assets. We see they are cheap. So we have the assets. We have space to do it. So we are in a good moment to receive a lot of investments.
Thank you very much for that. So while clearly Asia and Latin America are very different, regions with different challenges, there are also some similarities in some of the challenges and obstacles you are facing here. So to conclude this panel, how about maybe talking about a challenge your respective geographies are sharing and how your region is addressing it?
Yeah, I think everyone is concerned about geopolitics, global trading, and I always think during these challenging moments, travel can play a very important role to build a bridge between Asia to the rest of the world. Our mission is that while we are sending people far away, we are bringing the world closer. I want our young employees to see beyond the daily work they are doing, they are really making positive contribution to the global peace and prosperity.
Thank you very much for that, Jane. Bruno.
Concerning Latin, we have, very important challenges, and I selected two mainly: productivity challenges and the fiscal challenges. The productivity one we saw in the last, 30 years, the region experienced very, very low growth. And part of it is because of the reboot. So we are keeping rebooting and changing direction of governments. On one hand, it's bad because we cannot accelerate important reforms. But on the other hand, we have solid institutions that help us to keep pushing in the right direction, despite not so fast, less fast that we want to go. And this affects productivity. So we must develop infrastructure, we must improve our technology, we must improve our education system in quality and scale, because in the past, the one jump that we faced was scaling the education, but we are not scaling in the level of quality that we have to do. So this is the next step that would be very important for productivity. So technology and education, but we have to do everything thinking about the public expenditure. At the end of the day, we must do it with fiscal responsibility. Because if we do not do with fiscal responsibility, we lose a lot of money, it will increase interest rates, it will get money out of private sector to fund the government. So this is a common problem in Latin America. So I think that this is the two main challenges that we face, but still I think we are in the right direction. We are very well positioned for the future, for the needs of the globe, but we remain with our challenges.
Thank you very much. Two very dynamic parts of the world with similar and very different challenges indeed. Many thanks to both of you, Jane Sun and Bruno Funchal. Thank you for your insights today.
Thank you.